You're sitting in a meeting, nodding along, saying nothing. Everyone assumes you're not paying attention, that you're bored, maybe even a little slow. But inside your head, you're 3 steps ahead of the entire conversation. This happens to a certain kind of person more often than you'd think. They don't raise their hand first. They don't need to be the loudest voice in the room. And because of that, the world constantly underestimates them. If you've ever felt like the smart one nobody noticed, this is for you. Here are 7 signs that your mind works differently than most, even if you never realized it. Real intelligence rarely looks the way movies and TV shows have taught us to expect. It isn't a person reciting facts, winning debates, or being the center of attention. It's quieter than that, and far more internal than external. Most highly intelligent people don't even know they're different until someone points it out. They just assumed everyone's brain worked the exact same way theirs does. So let's break down the patterns, one by one, starting with the most overlooked one. You might recognize yourself in more of these than you expect. Sign number 1. You ask more questions than you give answers. In conversations, you're not trying to prove what you know. You're trying to understand what you don't. While others rush to share an opinion, you're quietly gathering more information first. This isn't hesitation, it's a completely different approach to thinking. You'd rather fully understand a problem than look clever for 5 seconds. People sometimes mistake this for indecision, but it's actually depth. You know that the first answer is rarely the most accurate one. So you dig, you probe, you circle the idea from every angle. Even in casual conversations, you find yourself asking, but why does that happen? Curiosity like this isn't a personality quirk, it's a cognitive habit. Highly intelligent minds are wired to notice gaps in their own knowledge. Most people stop thinking once they have an answer that feels good enough. You keep going until the answer actually makes sense. That relentless questioning is often mistaken for overthinking. In reality, it's just a brain that refuses to settle for surface level understanding. Sign number 2, you're comfortable saying the words, I don't know. For a lot of people, admitting ignorance feels like admitting weakness. But for you, it's simply a fact, not a failure. You understand something most people never fully accept, that no one knows everything. Pretending otherwise wastes time and blocks real learning. Saying, I don't know, is actually a sign of high self-awareness. It means you have an accurate map of your own knowledge and its limits. Less intelligent people often overestimate what they understand. This is a real psychological pattern, and researchers have a name for it. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, and it explains a strange paradox. The less someone actually knows, the more confident they tend to feel. Meanwhile, the more someone learns, the more aware they become of what's left to learn. That awareness can look like doubt, but it's really just accuracy. You'd rather be right eventually than confident immediately. This single trait quietly separates deep thinkers from the rest. It's uncomfortable in the moment, but it saves you from 1,000 costly mistakes. Sign number 3, you get restless in repetitive, unchallenging environments. Routine tasks that don't require thinking start to feel unbearable after a while. Your brain craves friction, something to chew on, something to solve. Without a challenge, your mind starts wandering somewhere else entirely. This is why some highly intelligent people struggled in traditional school settings. Sitting still, memorizing facts, and repeating information bored them to exhaustion. It wasn't laziness, it was an understimulated mind looking for something real. Give that same mind a genuine problem, and everything changes instantly. Suddenly there's focus, energy, and total immersion in the task. Psychologists call this state flow, and it's where deep thinkers come alive. You don't need constant excitement, you need constant meaning. A repetitive job might pay the bills, but it slowly drains you. You find yourself daydreaming, planning, or mentally solving unrelated problems instead. That's not a lack of discipline. It's a mind refusing to go dormant. Understanding this about yourself can completely change how you choose your work. Boredom, for you, isn't relaxation. It's a warning sign that something's wrong. Sign number 4, you overthink decisions that seem simple to everyone else. Picking a restaurant, replying to a text, choosing a font, it can all spiral. Your brain doesn't just see the decision, it sees every branching outcome. What if this choice leads somewhere I didn't expect? What if there's a better option I haven't considered yet? This mental habit is exhausting, but it comes from a place of depth. You're not indecisive. You're running simulations most people never bother running. The downside is obvious. Small decisions take up far too much energy. The upside is just as real. You rarely walk into big decisions blind. Highly intelligent people tend to see consequences several steps ahead of everyone else. That foresight is a gift, even when it feels like a curse. The key isn't to stop thinking deeply, it's to know when depth is actually needed. Save the deep analysis for what truly matters and let the small stuff go. Learning that balance is one of the quiet marks of real maturity. Overthinking isn't weakness, it's an unfiltered strength. Sign number 5. You prefer a few close connections over a wide social circle. Small talk drains you, but a deep 2-hour conversation energizes you completely. You're not antisocial, you're selective about where your energy actually goes. Highly intelligent people often crave depth in relationships, not just company. A room full of surface level chatter can feel more isolating than being alone. You'd rather have one friend who truly understands you than 20 who don't. This preference is sometimes mistaken for arrogance or coldness. In reality, it's just a different definition of what connection actually means. Studies on highly intelligent individuals have found a surprising pattern here. More social interaction with low quality connections often lowers their overall well being. For most other people, the opposite tends to be true. This doesn't mean something is wrong with you, it means your needs are different. You find meaning in fewer, richer interactions rather than constant social noise. Once you accept that, loneliness starts to feel a lot less like failure. It's simply a mind wired to seek quality over quantity, everywhere. And that's not a flaw, it's clarity. Sign number 6. You talk to yourself out loud or entirely in your head. Working through a problem often means narrating your own thought process. This isn't a strange habit, it's actually a documented cognitive tool. Verbalizing your thoughts helps organize complex information more effectively. Some of history's sharpest minds were known for talking through ideas aloud. It slows the thinking down just enough to catch mistakes early. When you explain something to yourself, gaps in logic suddenly become obvious. This is why teaching a concept often reveals what you don't actually understand. Your inner monologue isn't random chatter, it's active problem solving in motion. People might catch you muttering while working and assume something is off. In truth, your brain is just processing out loud instead of silently. This habit often intensifies the more complex the problem becomes. It's less about talking to hear yourself and more about thinking with more clarity. That internal dialogue is a quiet superpower most people never notice. Sign number 7, and maybe the clearest one, you notice patterns others miss entirely. A stranger's tone of voice, a shift in someone's behavior, a small contradiction in a story. These details register instantly for you, even when nobody else catches them. Your brain is constantly connecting dots in the background, without conscious effort. This pattern recognition shows up in conversations, in numbers, in relationships, everywhere. You might notice a friend seems off days before they say anything. You might spot a flaw in a plan that everyone else approved instantly. This isn't intuition in some mystical sense, it's rapid, unconscious analysis. Your brain has quietly cataloged thousands of small details over the years. When something breaks that pattern, you feel it before you can explain why. This is often the trait people notice last, but respect the most. It's the quiet ability to see what's really happening beneath the surface. And once you know you have it, you start trusting it more. So there you have it, 7 signs of a mind that works differently. Asking more than you answer, admitting what you don't know, craving real challenge. Overthinking with purpose, choosing depth in relationships, thinking out loud, and spotting hidden patterns. None of these require a diploma, a test score, or anyone else's approval. Real intelligence has never been about being the loudest person in the room. It's about noticing what others walk right past without ever needing credit for it. If several of these felt uncomfortably familiar, that's not a coincidence. You've probably been smarter than you realized for a very long time. If this helped you see yourself a little clearer, stick around. There's more where this came from.